Announcer, the United Kingdom has postponed sanctions against Lukoil's foreign assets for several months. The country's government has allowed transactions with the Russian oil giant's international companies until the end of February next year. During this period, Lukoil and its subsidiaries will be able to make and receive payments under both existing and newly concluded agreements. Let me remind you, earlier London suspended sanctions against Lukoil for Bulgaria to allow the operation of its only oil refinery. However, Ukraine will continue to work with its partners to impose sanctions against the subsidiaries of Russian oil giants. This was reported by the President's Commissioner for Sanctions Policy, Vladislav Vlasuk. After all, Russia is already feeling the effects of American and European sanctions.
Vladislav Vlasuk. We are seeing a reduction in Russian oil exports by 15 to 20% in November compared to the previous month. At the same time, we are not sure that this issue is completely resolved. That's why we are proposing and will continue to work with our partners. If you target Rosneft, Lukoil and 30 subsidiary companies, that's great. But let's also identify other subsidiaries. Let's find the operators as well. And let's not forget that there are other majors as well. Tatneft, Siburneft, Gazpromneft 2, and all of them also need to be brought under the same sanctions.
Narrator. European sanctions against Russia cannot be lifted immediately under any circumstances. This was emphasized by the EU Special Representative for Sanctions, David O'Sullivan, at the Sanctions Summit in Kyiv. According to him, the European Union adheres to a policy where sanctions can only be lifted if the reason for their imposition ceases to exist.
David O'Sullivan, President of the European Commission von der Leyen, was very clear when this issue arose a few months ago. She said that the sanctions would be lifted when the reason for which they were imposed no longer exists. So I believe that it's not just about a ceasefire regime or a peace agreement on paper. Even in the latest proposals I've seen in the press, there is always mention of a gradual lifting of sanctions. Therefore, there will be a link between the implementation of the peace agreement and the subsequent gradual lifting of sanctions.